Hi, friends. Hello. I'm going to wait until a couple of more people join. This is New York-based attorney for immigration, Marina Shepelsky, helping immigrants from all 50 states to legalize in the United States, to bring your family from overseas, to be united with your loved ones and make this country great again, and just great, by bringing in immigrants here and letting people legalize, making the American dream come true. Happy New Year. May this be a good one, healthy one, full of exciting good things. Only good things to you this year. Excuse me for 1 second. I have to turn on. So sorry, technical difficulties. I forgot to turn my do not disturb sign on. And I got so many phone calls because it's Monday, the first Monday, January 3rd of the new year. But I was excited to do this with you guys because I missed Friday. Friday was New Year's. So first of all, I wanted to wish everyone who's watching and your families a happy, healthy new year. Thank you for giving us your time and your attention. Just to, I guess, reintroduce myself, my name is Marina Shepelsky. I practice immigration law for about 20 years now. And my practice is for all kinds of people to unite with family and companies, bring in employees here. And anytime you've had problems with immigration law before, or you're filing something new, all aspects of immigration law, as well as New York and New Jersey only, divorce and family law. So we are taking clients from all the 50 states, and it doesn't matter, obviously, where you live. Today's video and today's live is to discuss all the news that, believe it or not, on January 3rd have already accumulated that I wanted to discuss with you guys, and to talk about what's happening right away already in the start of 2022. And a lot has happened. I'm working from home because one of my kids has COVID, the last one. Now we've all had COVID, and I have some sort of a cold, so excuse my voice. It's not COVID. So I guess the biggest bang to start 2022 with is that Department of State is planning to raise non-immigrant consular fees in almost every category. They're increasing the money. They're increasing how much they will charge for various fees. So I have a whole list, and I wanted to just quickly go over, obviously without getting too much detail, because we have a lot to discuss today. And I also want to answer some questions at the end. So save your questions for the end, although I will say hello to some people just to say hello. Okay, first of all, these are only for non-immigrant fees. Non-immigrant visas are usually for temporary stay. It's not meant for people to immigrate, obviously, as the name says, non-immigrant. It's not meant for people to move and stay with a green card. It's for people to come for a short period of time and be in the United States for a short period of time. And of course, in 2021, they were very slow in even scheduling any non-immigrant visa interviews. So not too many people even came here with these kinds of visas last year, but this year they're increasing fees. But for now, they're just proposing it. They're going to federally publish a special rule about it soon. And the first one is the J1 waiver of the 2-year home residency requirement. The fee is increasing from $120 to $510, almost by 5 times, like 4.5 times they increased it. This is for people who had the J1 visa, but because their program was somehow sponsored by the government, they had to go back for 2 years, stay in their home country for 2 full years physically, and only then they can apply for a new visa. So that fee is going up. Now, a bunch of other fees like tourist visa fees, C1 and D1 for crewmen on transit visas for people who are working on ships and airlines, F1 student visa, I visa for media and journalists, J visa for exchange students, M visa for vocational like training students, the TN visa for Canada and Australia professionals, S visa for witnesses or informants of U.S. law enforcement, T visa for people who are victims of human trafficking, and U visa for victim informants for criminal activities. And these people are the ones who help the government put the criminal in jail. Also, the work visas, all of them, H, L, O, P, Q, and R religious category visas, all those fees for consular processing are going up from $190 to $310. The E-treaty trader investor visas going up from $205, more than twice, to $485. And the border crossing card for Mexican citizens over the age of 15, but they're valid for 10 years, are going up from $160 to $245. Most of them have doubled, some of them even quadrupled in price. Let me tell you, the 2 things that are not being increased, because they're already pretty high, is the K1 fiancé visa not getting increased, and the L1 intra-company, inside the company transfer visas for like when a company wants to transfer a manager from their office, let's say in India, to the United States. That is not increasing, and people have until February 28, 2022 to email comments or objections to them, and they will consider them. And the email is fees, F like Frank, EES, @state.gov. And our opinion is that this is really bad for immigration when we're supposed to be recovering and we need people to come in with work visas and so on. They're making it pretty expensive. And, you know, people from poor countries, this is a lot of money for them, a lot, especially for immigrants. Okay, the next piece of huge news, and I'm going to do a separate YouTube video just about this, is that finally USCIS released all the statistics for the fiscal year 2020 to 2021. So from October 1, 2020 to September 30th, 2021. And, you know, they said, okay, this is everything we did and all the statistics, percentages, and so on. Lots of interesting information here. Fascinating. First of all, they saw, and of course, it's not going to be a surprise to all of you, but they saw the backlog to continue to grow. The delays are continuing to grow. And in the last 2 years, the delays tripled in numbers, okay? While the amount of applications to USCIS increased. So the backlog has increased and the delays are increased while more people are filing, creating more backlog. So we're falling into dangerous territory here that they're not keeping up with the new applications, basically. Another thing I discovered today, and this wasn't published anywhere, and they didn't announce it, but the practitioners like myself, other lawyers have shared this information, is that if you guys register with your My USCIS account, they will not be mailing anything to you. All your notices are going into your account. So as your lawyer, I also will not receive anything. This is really strange. I hope they work this out. So if you file online, or if you create My USCIS account, your personal account with them, where you register all your applications, right? They will not mail anything by regular mail to you. You will get no paper. All your notices will go into the account if everything works right, and hopefully it does. And that's the only place you'll see biometrics notices, receipt notices, and other notices, letters they send you. So that's also something new, and they're trying to save money on mail and paper, and people who are working there that have to create these. So we have to adjust to that. That's new. Okay, so the federal government, are you ready? Are you ready? This is the big news. The federal government failed to issue up to 230,000 green cards they were supposed to issue last year. Why? Because they couldn't keep up with the backlog, and the time had expired for these visas, mostly in employment-based categories and some family-based categories. So 150,000 visas for family-based immigrants expired and couldn't get a green card. And about 80,000 employment-based immigrants expired on September 30th, the last day for fiscal year 2021. And those people couldn't get green cards, basically because of their inefficiency, because of the backlog, but mostly because of COVID. 230,000 green cards were just wasted. Those numbers were wasted. Okay, roughly 69% of the 8.84 million immigration applications submitted to USCIS last year were approved. So they're approving about 69% of applications. This is good, but in 2020, they were approving even more, but a lot less people applied. So now that more people are applying, average rate of approval is 69%. And despite USCIS completing, they actually were able to complete 80% of the cases received in the fiscal year 2021. The processing backlog grew by 8 million pending cases, and at the end, it was triple what it was before COVID, okay? Right now, 8 million pending cases are in backlog. That's a lot of cases, 8 million cases. And 18% more of people filed this year. So they received 18% more applications in 2021 as compared to the first year of COVID, 2020. As of July 2021, brand new DACA applications were being taken, but not processed. But renewals for DACA were being processed, were being approved, and only 82% of those DACA renewals were approved. Of course, we're still thinking and talking about the Build Back Better Act, the immigration reform that was offered to be part of the budget plan, the money set aside in the education section of $1 billion for immigration. We'll see how that goes. Just to remind you guys that I've talked so much about this that I'm getting a little tired of it myself. But I mentioned they wanted to do green cards. That didn't work out. So the final version of this reform that they're thinking about is to give work permits for people who came here before January 1, 2011, which means they've been here more than 10 years. And those will be 5-year work permits and 5-year protections from deportation. And they are planning to recapture some of the visas, maybe the visas I just mentioned, about 230 million of visas, and being able to issue them to skip some people ahead in family petition and employment petition green card lines, only for people in America who've been waiting for 2 or more years. If they pay an expediting supplemental fee, which is quite hefty, they're talking about $2,500 for family petition people and $5,000 for people waiting for a green card as work petition beneficiaries. those people will have to pay, and they can skip ahead of the line, ahead of people who are waiting overseas. You know, like if you're in India or China, you can skip those lines if you're here waiting for that kind of a petition and get approved if you pay that fee. Still, it is only a proposition. It's only a suggestion. It's not like a full-blown law yet, so I want to be careful. And I want to ask you and urge you to not pay anyone, no lawyer, no paralegal, for like pre-registering for this. I've heard people already charging, so that you could get ahead of the line when the reform passes. It hasn't passed yet. Please hold on to your money. You never know what's going to happen. I'm hopeful. I'm not like cynical about it. I'm hopeful, but it hasn't happened yet. Don't pay anybody your hard-earned money because it hasn't come out. And a good lawyer, somebody who respects their clients, treats them well, has a reputation to uphold, will not take money from you yet because the law hasn't passed. So please be careful how you spend your money. And if you guys have any doubts about where, like I find, because I speak 2 languages, I speak Russian and English. So I find a whole bunch of nobodies talking about immigration law and promising people results and taking huge amounts of money from regular unsuspecting immigrants to legalize them, doing things illegally. They're not lawyers. They're not doing the right thing. And people who are gullible, who are new immigrants, who are desperate to legalize, they're looking for someone to please say yes to them. When the lawyers turn you away over and over again, you find notarios or paralegals or assistants to lawyers or people who just straight up pretend to be lawyers. They're not lawyers, but they say they are. They take money from you. The things that I have seen them do is fraud, misrepresentation, just illegal criminal activity. And the immigrant, first of all, loses all their money that they paid for this. And we're not talking about $5. We're talking about $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. Lose their money, never get it back. And they create a big problem for themselves in their immigration record. When they come to me, somebody legitimate who knows what they're doing, and I look at it, I see sometimes a really good way for them to legalize because of how they screwed up already in their record. There's nothing I can do. And I just get so upset, and I get at least 2 or 3 people a day like that. They call me from my TikToks, they call me from YouTube, and they say, please help me. And I get their record, I order it. It's called USCIS or EOIR FOIA. When I finally get the archive records and I look at what they did to themselves by paying these notarios out of desperation, I say, I'm sorry, I cannot help you. You already screwed up your record to the point where even though I could have done this for you, now I cannot because I see you'll just get denied, and I'm not in the business of stealing money from people or lying to them. All right? So please, I urge you to be careful with who you give your money to. If it's an attorney, check their reviews, check if they're registered with the state bar anywhere, and check how they're doing, because not all of them are lawyers, not all of them are allowed to practice immigration law, and so on and so forth. Also, if you have a lawyer who is not calling you back, and I've had clients come to us from other lawyers who are like that, for years and years, you never get a clear answer. You cannot get a copy of what they filed for you. You need to change attorneys now. And again, if you have a good attorney, you know who you are. It's not for you. I'm talking to people who hired somebody. I have a colleague of mine in New York City who recently lost her license to practice law because she just stopped calling people back. She stopped responding to people. Somebody made a complaint to the New York Bar Association, and the Bar Association started to call her and write her. She ignored them too. So after a while, they did a whole court case and took her license away, because this is the kind of stuff that's considered illegal. You cannot practice law and not call your clients back. And I'm not saying like people get busy and maybe you don't get a call back the same day or the next day. I'm talking about months and years where you don't know what they filed, you don't have any copies, and you don't know where you stand if you want to just follow up. And because of the delays, it could be years later, and you really want to see what you filed, especially for asylum. Backlogs for asylum are still crazy. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but if you guys are waiting for asylum since like 2015, you should be aware that USCIS under Trump began this policy of last in, first out for people who filed for asylum. What does it mean in simple words? It means whoever files recently, they go ahead of the line. If somebody files now in 2022, they're going to get interviewed in less than 60 days. By law, it has to be like 30 days. But, it takes time to be scheduled, biometrics, and so on. If you filed in 2015, they're going to get to you eventually, but not yet. They're going to go backwards in who they schedule. So first is the most recent people, and then 2021, then 2020, then 2019, 18, 16, and so on. They go backwards in how they schedule people. So whoever was more recent is ahead of line than whoever filed before, right? So whoever filed before, the benefit of those people is that they all have work permits and they're renewing them. The new people are not getting work permits, but instead they are getting called for asylum interviews very, very quickly, and sometimes denied very quickly, because the statistics show that about 87 to 89% of everyone filing for asylum gets denied, said no, at the asylum office. Now the case moves to immigration court, and then you have a chance to win in immigration court. And then depending where you live in the United States, each state has their own court system within the big court system. The statistics for some places are terrible. So your chances of winning go down. I don't even file in some states. I tell people you have to move because you'll never win your asylum case in your geographic place where you live. Like states in the South have terrible rates of winning in court, in immigration court for asylum. So keep that in mind. Again, we work with all the 50 states. We kind of have a concentration in all the humanitarian cases, like VAWA, for abused marriage people, for asylum, for anybody that's got denied, or like you need an appeal, give us a call. It doesn't matter where you live. At this point, we're very close to going fully remote, I think, with all immigration courts because of the uptick with Omicron, with the new variants of COVID. I think they will switch to fully remote soon. They haven't done it yet. New Jersey, I think, has already, starting in 2 weeks. And I'm not sure if all the other states will follow. In New York, they're doing most things online remotely with immigration court as well. So it doesn't matter where you are. We can represent you. We will just do it remotely. Even in our own state, we don't travel anymore. We just do it remotely like this. Everything now you can upload into the court system. We don't even mail it anymore. So it doesn't matter where you live. You can give us a quote and we can represent you. And finally, what did I want to mention? Oh, another big piece of news. If you are an essential healthcare worker and you're waiting for your work permit, and this is important, your work permit is 30 days or less away from expiring, right? So you're waiting and waiting. The backlogs for the work permits are horrendous. Some places are seeing like 18 months for work permits, not everywhere. And your work permit is about to expire. Basically, 30 days or less is left. You call USCIS and you say you're a healthcare worker. They will ask you questions about it. They might ask you to send them evidence, proof. And healthcare worker is a broad category. They're essential workers. I'm going to just give you some examples. 1 second. Healthcare essential workers who are eligible to expedite, meaning to make faster the processing of their work permits, are emergency service workers, pre-hospital workers, hospital workers, long-term care, home care, outpatient clinics, rehabs, nursing homes, home care workers I mentioned, long-term care facilities, residential and community-based, workplace safety workers, workers who do transportation, deliver supplies, manufacture healthcare supplies, laundry services, health plans and billing, health information, insurance for health people, cybersecurity, computer, IT, but you have clients who are healthcare facilities, obviously, vendors and supplies like imaging, pharmacy, oxygen services, donors of blood, organizations that deal with blood, medications, pharmacy, pharmaceuticals, workers and materials, lab workers, people who do testing and other lab workers, people who drive stuff to labs and from labs, retail facilities that sell medical goods, hospital supplies, home care supplies, public health and environment health workers, human services providers, including home delivered meals, homemaker services for frail people, older people, homebound people, personal assistance to sick and health, health and disabled challenged people, and a big list of other people having to do with basically healthcare. Even if you're remotely working in something that's related to healthcare, if you're waiting for the work permit and you're desperate, it's 30 days or less away, like it's expiring in 2 weeks, you call USCIS. I'm going to tell you the phone number. I should know it by heart by now, but honestly, we usually have a paralegal call, and I only get on the line when they're picked up. It's 1-800 1-800-375-5283. That's all you need to do. You call them and be prepared to send proof that you are a healthcare worker, and they will expedite. They will process your work permit faster. You'll get ahead of the line. And now I'm done with everything that I wanted to tell you. Let me talk to you guys. Hi, Sasana. Hello, Marina. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Thank you. Hi. Hello. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Imogen says she just got her work authorization on December 22nd. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year there. Jesus Castro says he's been waiting for his waiver. His U.S. citizen wife filed for him almost a year ago, possibly even longer. How much longer will it be? Years. It might be another 2 years. It's taking a long time. I just talked about how delayed they are. What is the latest update on the Build Back Better bill? It's alive. It's definitely not dead, but I think they're going to start really working on it right now. They have until February to make it final. Diana says, is there an emergency to get the F1 without waiting? You can write them an email and say what your emergency is, like if your school program is about to begin and you're missing out. But I'm not sure if they will put you ahead of other people who are waiting for like green cards and family petitions. You can try. Hi, I'm married to a U.S. citizen. We've been divorced. It's been 2 years and 2 months. Do I still qualify for VAWA? No, you do not. If you've been divorced more than 2 years, even by day, you will not qualify for VAWA. That's all I'm seeing right now in terms of questions. But again, I'm only seeing, I think, I'm only seeing the YouTube questions. I'm not seeing, for some reason, I'm using this app called StreamYard. I'm not sure if it shows, I don't think it shows me the Facebook comments. It only shows me YouTube questions and comments. And the other thing I'm going to add going forward, and I'm working on that, is also streaming at the same time to TikTok and Instagram. Guys, I have really funny TikToks where I talk about specific issues in immigration and news. Every day I make like 2 or 3 TikToks. I love making them. A lot of times my kids help me. Sometimes I get somebody, usually I get like younger people to help me with filming them, with ideas. I follow the trends. I think if you just want to laugh and learn something about immigration law, check me out on TikTok, Marina Shepelsky. You could, I have like 3 accounts. One got banned because I think somebody kept reporting me, even though I never said anything bad or showed anything. My kids showed me somebody who bared his chest or her chest. I'm not sure what it was, but like a womanly, breast on TikTok, and that was allowed, but I kept getting banned. I didn't understand, but I have a new account that's in good standing. It's not getting banned. So check me out. Look me up on Instagram. Thank you for watching. And before I go, I actually have new questions. Pastor Lucas says, I don't have legal papers to work, but by God's grace, I have been working as a caregiver for 2 years during the pandemic. Do you think I'm qualified for the work permit? We'll see how it works with the new reform. Maybe under the new reform, Pastor. And I'm sorry you haven't legalized yet. Not that many options for you at this point, other than the new reform, like the amnesty or marrying somebody who's a U.S. citizen. But you might be married already. Henry says, hi, what do you know about the 2 years extension for green card? Okay, so I-751 petition to remove conditions also have been very delayed, just like everything else. At this point, I'm going to double check, but I'm looking up the processing times for the 10-year green card when you go from the 2-year to the 10-year, right? And that's called removal of conditions. Real quick, I'm looking it up live as we go because they probably just updated everything since it's a new year. Assuming you're in New York and you go to Vermont, let's do all field offices, okay? Petition to remove conditions, you go from two years green card to 10 years. It's the form I-751, and I'm checking all field offices everywhere. So they're saying it will be between 21 and a half to 37 months from the date you filed the I-751 for them to give you a green card. Now, what happens if you need to travel? Most time, all you need to do is bring your expired 2-year green card and the receipt notice letter confirming USCIS received your I-751 and is processing them. Right, but some people are afraid to travel like that. You can also call the 1-800 number, and I already talked about it. It's 1-800-375-5283, and say you need InfoPass appointment in person to get a stamp in your passport to show that you're legal. You still have your green card and you have green card status because you've been waiting maybe for 2 years. Your green card is already expired for 2 years, but you want to travel. You are still in green card holder status while you're waiting for them to make a decision on the 10-year green card. They extend it automatically. So you should have a letter that says your status is extended. You should have your expired green card. If you travel with both of those, usually it's okay. But if you're really worried and you want something else, you make an appointment with USCIS when you're over 18 months of waiting, and they will give you an appointment. They were talking about making it now like 3 years from filing. So perhaps people who are filing now will be getting 3 years instead of 18 months to wait for the I-751 to be approved. But officially, on their website, the processing times is up to 37 months, okay? Okay, I got more questions. That's good. Steiny says, how long is it taking to approve H4? My H4 is getting to expire in May 22. I don't know. You have to look up these processing times. I don't have time to look up each separate visa. Diana says, I meant F1 visa in Tel Aviv. I can't call them because they don't get the phone. Email them. Probably because of New Year's. Nobody was picking up the phone. Just because you don't celebrate New Year's, maybe because you do Rosh Hashanah, doesn't mean that the American embassy doesn't. And they might be off, or because of COVID, they have limited hours. Just give them some time. Diana says, I went I-20 today, and my school starts 18th of January, so can I in Tel Aviv get an expedited? You can ask. You can email them with a copy of the I-20 and ask. I'm not sure if you will, though. Grace, how long it will take for the I-601 waiver to be approved? It sometimes takes like 3 years. I've seen them, pending for less, but also I've seen them up to 3 years. As you know, EB2 and EB3 is taking more years to get a green card. Is you or your law firm helping to file self-EB2 to get the green card? Yes, absolutely. I love EB1s. EB1 is a green card for outstanding, professional or sports or research or science ability. So if you are an exceptional person in your category and you have the right proofs, and there's 3 categories, so you have to call our office. My phone number is on the screen. I love these cases. We win them all because we put so much time and effort into them. And they have a great chance of winning because there's no quota on them. So you can file, and every case is unique. So you might have a good chance. On this note, I end this live. I hope that we can see each other again on Friday. I'm going to try to do the Friday lives now. But because I skipped Friday last week, I just decided to do it today, special because of all the news we had. And thank you for watching. Have a great and happy 2022. Lots of exciting things ahead of us. I hope this year we get some kind of immigration reform, and I think we will. Take care of yourself, stay healthy, and be careful not to get the variant. But if you do, it doesn't seem to be as horrible as all the other variants before this. And I'm hopeful because of that too. Take care. Bye-bye.